Hey everybody, welcome to this Columbusland conversation. My name is John Umland.
I'm Johnny DiLoretto, and we are talking about It's a Wonderful Life, showing here at the Gateway Film Center as part of our Holiday Classics series.
So one time, you told me that if you had to pick your favorite film, it would be It's a Wonderful Life.
It is my favorite film. This movie changed my life. It was the movie for me, John, that when I saw it, I knew, oh, this is what I'd seen a lot of films, obviously.
Yeah.
I was attracted to film.
Yeah.
But it was the movie for me that made me aware of my love of movies.
You said this film provides a blueprint for being a good human being.
Yeah, for being a decent person. Everything you need to know about being a decent person is in this movie. You know, George has all these dreams and plans that are derailed at every turn by some event.
Yeah.
When everything is falling apart for George and he thinks he's going to jail. And there's a moment where his youngest child, Tommy, is there. The family's decorating the tree, and the girl is playing the piano, and there's all this ruckus. And the little one, he's like about 4 years old, has this Santa Claus mask.
Yeah.
And he keeps going, rah, rah, which is brilliant on Frank Capra's part because he didn't direct the kid. Like, he didn't stop the kid and say, hey, that's a Santa Claus mask, it's not a monster mask. This little kid just has a mask, and he thinks it's a scary thing. Jimmy Stewart is... He's just beside himself, and he knows that he's going to jail. And he snatches this little boy up. He snatches him up in his arms, and he just starts smothering him with kisses. And one, it's the rawest example of male emotion on the screen up until that point. And two, it is just, as a father, it's such a real, raw, naked kind of peek inside of a father's heart.
Is this Jimmy Stewart's best performance?
It is not only Jimmy Stewart's best performance. In my estimation, it's the best performance ever given by an American male in American cinema.
It's dark. Like, this film is dark.
Yeah.
There's a huge, you pretty much just watch him lose over and over again.
I mean, it really runs the gamut of the human experience, and of our emotional palette.
It is the tapestry of an entire life.
Right.
In 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel like it jumps all over the place. It feels incredibly fluid.
It is. It's a very coherent movie. Tonally, it's a masterpiece. Being able to have, angels coming down, and like he's a goofball, and then having this Dickensian Mr. Potter character, and then having Gower, the druggist, who's this alcoholic, and you could see in his eyes these roomy eyes, and he's smacking this kid, and there's some real intense moments of what would pass in these days as gritty realism.
Yeah.
But then there are also these fantastical components to the movie, and it's all of this one kind of symphonic cinematic experience.
How did this happen?
Well, I think it's important. I'm glad you asked that. I think it's important to note that this was a movie made by two guys who were fresh out of World War II. Mm-hmm. And these guys made very successful movies prior to that. Jimmy Stewart won the Oscar for The Philadelphia Story in 1940 and then gone, off to war. So when they came back, they didn't know if they would have a career waiting for them. But Frank Capra, being an Oscar winner for It Happened One Night, he did have a career waiting for him, and he offered this part of George Bailey to Jimmy Stewart. He just thought it sounded crazy. This movie sounds crazy, but he was going to entrust his career to his friend Frank Capra, and he did, and this is what we got.
The first time you and I had this conversation, I think you actually brought me to the point of tears.
Is that right?
It was, there was some drinking involved.
There was some drinking
but
involved.
But it was an emotional moment. I think I did not give this film enough credit because I think I, like many people, saw it when I was young, on TV with my family around Christmas time.
Yeah.
And I'd never really dug in. But I think it is totally a film people need to revisit.
Yeah, they do. And look for it's so rich. They're just little tiny things that are in the movie. It all adds to the richness of the film.
Yeah. It's a Wonderful Life is playing as part of Holiday Classics at the Film Center starting Friday, December 13th.
Admission is free with a toy.
Yeah, so come give back a little bit and revisit this film. It's one of the greatest American films. If you saw Johnny DeVito, it's the greatest.
It's the greatest.
Johnny, thank you very much.
Thanks, John.
Happy holidays.